Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Wednesday, the 4th of October. Good to have you aboard. We are part of the Believe Podcast Network. And of course, everything ZASLOW Show 2.0, always brought to us by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. If you're dealing with a personal injury, if you've been involved in an accident, hit and run, motorcycle, boating, slip and fall accident can leave you with serious injuries, excessive medical bills, inability to work. If your slip and fall occurred due to a hazard that the property's owner or management knew about and failed to correct, you may be able to pursue legal action against that person or business. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. We are ready for week 5 of the NFL season. Dolphins and Giants coming up this weekend. Week 5 of the season gets going tomorrow night. We're going to talk to Anita Marks. She's going to join us coming up in a little bit. She knows the Giants super well up there in New York. She's on 98.7 ESPN New York, Good Karma Brands. She'll be on with us. We'll talk about what the big plays are for Dolphins Giants with her. We'll talk about the start of week 5 tomorrow night, Commanders and Bears. And hey, look, we're in it. We're right smack in football season, which of course means Bet Online, your number one information source for all your sports wagering info with all the up-to-the-minute stats, news, scores, and matchup breakdowns. Get the latest game odds, the spreads, the totals for all your football action. It's right at your fingertips with Bet Online's real-time updates on stats, news, and odds. All the way through the college football playoff and the Super Bowl, Bet Online gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the Bet Online website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and you get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's right. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, we'll get Anita on the show coming up. She was on with me last week when I was on ESPN Radio hosting with Amber on Amber and Ian. She's great. She's a local girl as well. Kendall, she grew up in, so she knows. She's 305, so we'll have some fun with her coming up. We got Inter Miami back in action tonight. They're playing in Chicago at 8:30. Are we going to get Messi? I think it's probably doubtful. I haven't seen a most recent update. We got some Heat stuff. Today's day 2 of Miami Heat training camp. We got some stuff to get to from yesterday. But the big story that we start... Oh, and by the way, it's Wednesday, so we throw in some NFL where we got to tell you which fan bases are having good times right now in the middle of the week and which fan bases are going through hard times at it right now in the middle of the week. So we'll get to that, but the lead story today is the Marlins. So game 2 tonight, 8:08 p.m. And I don't know about you, while last night was a major struggle, a lot of strikeouts, Marlins struck out 10 times, just couldn't really get anything going all game long. Zach Wheeler was great. If you didn't love the home plate umpire, look, the Marlins weren't happy for most of the game, but I would say Wheeler was hitting he was hitting the corners, he was touching the black part of the paint. You were able to see when they would show the graphic. Now, is the graphic 100%? I don't know. I think it's probably pretty close. I thought the umpire, for the most part, did a really good job behind the home plate. I know the Marlins were not pleased most of the game, especially late in the game. John Birdie at one point thought he walked, thought he drew ball 4 on a full count. It was a called strike 3. I thought it was the right call. So it is what it is. But while the Marlins did struggle last night, I will tell you, I really enjoyed that game last night. And the part that I really enjoyed was I just liked being into the game. I liked being dialed in to a Marlins playoff game. And you know what? For me, the part that stunk the most was the idea that tonight could be the end of it. Like, I wish it was best of 7. I wish we could actually sit back and enjoy an entire series. So, to me, that was the part that I disliked the most was, man, I don't want it to end tonight because Major League Baseball playoffs are different. So different than the regular season where literally every pitch is important. The difference between a 2-1 count and a 1-2 count or a 3-1 count and a 2-2 count, Every pitch is huge. I'm not as big a I'm not a big baseball fan anymore. I used to love baseball. And even though I'm not the baseball fan that I used to be, I love the Major League Baseball playoffs. The games are great. The players are really into it. They behave like children on the edge of the dugout. They're cheering the whole time. I really enjoyed last night's Marlins game, even though they lost 4-1 and didn't even have a ton of opportunities. Now, 8:08 tonight, Braxton Garrett need the best performance of his life tonight. You know, this Philly team is super dangerous. Zach Wheeler was really difficult last night, and they finally got to him there in the 7th inning. That was the biggest spot for the Marlins. In the 7th they're down 3-1. They got the 1 run there. They're on another infield single, which De La Cruz, excellent job beating it out at first base. They're down 3-1 now in the 7th. They end up having 2nd and 3rd with the pass ball. Gurriel comes up to pinch hit, strikeout swinging on 4 pitches. So, terrible job there. Alvarado comes out of the bullpen, mowed him down. That was the biggest spot in the game because the base hit ties it right there. Then in the 8th inning, you had Soler. He had Arias with the 2-out single. Arias gets on first. He had his only hit of the game. And you get the guy at bat that you want. In a 2-run game, he's the tying run. Can he hit one deep? And that's why, they were discussing on the broadcast, and Carl Ravitch asks Eduardo Perez, do you pinch run Arias here? Because he can't run. He can't run. And I'm like, and Eduardo Perez, yeah, you definitely got to pinch run him. No, you definitely don't pinch run him there because it's 2 out. You're looking for a home run here from Soler. You haven't been able to string together hits all night. 36 home runs in the regular season, Soler. You're looking for a home run here to tie the game. You don't need to pinch run a guy if you're looking for a home run. And that home run would only tie the game, not give you the lead, so you don't want to have Arias out the game. You don't pinch run Arias there, and they didn't. But Soler grounds out. That was another huge spot. And then in the 9th, you're down 4-1. You get the leadoff double from Bell. Huge extra run there, insurance run, with Bryce Harper running through the sign at 3rd there. He's awesome, by the way. I know he's a polarizing player. He's so Philadelphia, Bryce Harper. They definitely love him there. I would love to have Bryce Harper on my team. I'm a fan. And by the way, did you see yesterday he shows up to the game wearing an Allen Iverson shirt? He's so Philadelphia. So in the 9th inning, huge add-on run there from Harper because Bell doubles to second double of the game. Bell doubles to start the inning. And now you got the heart of your order, and it's a 3-run game instead of the run at the plate being the tying run. Huge insurance run there in the bottom of the 8th inning from Bryce Harper, and the heart of the order can't capitalize. You get a pop-up, you get a strikeout, you get a ground out, and that's all she wrote. And I guess one other spot earlier in the game, Jazz has had a terrific year. But man, what the hell was that in the 4th inning? Like, the first opportunity that the Marlins had to really get something going, their first hit of the game came in the 4th there. It was the single from Josh Bell. Boy, Bell had 3 hits yesterday. It was the single from Josh Bell in the 4th inning, down by 1. So Jazz is at bat, Bell on first, 2 outs. And he's attempting a bunt? He's showing bunt for the first 2 strikes and then winds up popping out to end the inning. I think it was a pop out. I don't know what Jazz was doing in that. Like, it was the first opportunity to do anything last night. But I guess he made up for it then, because in the bottom of the 4th inning, I mean, just a dart that he threw to home plate, tagged Castellanos out at home, made the 2nd out of the inning after a run did score right in front of him, so kept the game kind of within reach. That kept it at 3-0 instead of 4-0. It's a pretty big play. So I guess he made up for it there. I think Jesus Luzardo, I think he was a little over-anxious. You could see him didn't have great control of the slider, overthrowing the slider a little bit, overthrowing that fastball, coming in high a lot there yesterday. So hopefully we get to see him another time this postseason. It would be in the divisional series if we do. I think he'll learn from last night. Like, he wasn't bad. Luzardo's final line last night, 4 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. He struck out 5. He didn't walk any. He wasn't bad. Skip didn't want to keep going with him there because in the regular season, he wouldn't have come out of the game. But postseason, you're managing your bullpen differently, especially in a 3-game series, and especially like we talked about with Jessica Blaylock yesterday. It's all hands on deck in the playoffs, and especially in a short series like this. It'll be like that again tonight. You'll have guys who are normally starters totally available for the game tonight if Braxton Garrett gets into some trouble. We didn't see Robertson last night, so you're certainly going to see him tonight. You didn't see Tanner Scott last night, so you're certainly going to see him tonight. This is do or die here this evening. So I was really into the game last night. Can the Marlins force a Game 3? That's what we're looking at tonight. So I was really into it last night. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. We knew, even though the Marlins had success against Philadelphia in the regular season, we knew last night was going to be tough. We know tonight's going to be really tough. It's a great crowd there in Philadelphia, and hopefully the Marlins got some jitters out of their system. I thought, especially their at-bats later in the game, looked a lot better than earlier, which of course makes sense because it's Zach Wheeler. First couple times through the order, you're going to struggle. But the Marlins have a really difficult time winning this series. You have to get a great effort from Braxton Garrett tonight. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So, let's go! I mean, can we win tonight? Can we get ourselves another baseball game tomorrow night? Let's do it! All right. Now, and you know what? I would normally have trouble falling asleep after the Marlins losing a playoff game. I mean, it's 20 years ago. It's a really long time ago. I would normally have trouble falling asleep after one of my teams loses a playoff game, but you guys know I'm getting that amazing sleep courtesy of Sheets and Giggles. You know that. Sheets and Giggles, been on the show now on ZASLOW Show 2.0 for about 6 months now. And when you go to sheetsgiggles.com, you're getting the most breathable, the softest, the coolest sheets. And if you use promo code ZASLOW, Z-A-S-L-O-W, use promo code ZASLOW at checkout, you're going to get 20% off your first order. That's right. Get the best sleep of your life with Sheets and Giggles irresistibly soft eucalyptus sheets, a unique satin weave. Their sheets are not only soft, they're also breathable. You're going to sleep cool and comfortable all night long. They have their annual fall sale going on right now, 25% off throughout the site. Sheetsgiggles.com. Use promo code ZASLOW. When you go to sheetsgiggles.com, use promo code ZASLOW at checkout. 20% off your first order. Again, sheetsgiggles.com, promo code ZASLOW. All right, so the Heat yesterday, first official day of training camp. Monday, you had media day. Yesterday, training camp up at FAU. Jimmy Butler, he's out of the hair, all right? He's got his regular hair going on. He does it the first day just to fuck with everybody. So now it's time to get down to business. And again, you have, now this wasn't so much a negative story, but now Kyle Lowry had to speak to the media. The media's right there. I guess he didn't have to. I don't know if the media convinced, the Heat's PR guys, the great Tim Donovan, the great Rob Wilson, best PR team. I don't know, they told him, like listen, you can't be an asshole. You got to talk to the media sometimes. So he spoke to the media yesterday, and he's obviously going to be asked. And when you see, Lowry's been he's been a professional in this league, he's been a veteran in this league for a long time. He should know how to answer questions. He should know how to talk to the media. He should know how to say things without making it a thing. And that's why his absence at media day stirs a pot, which makes you believe something is wrong. He's unhappy. And the better route is just talk to the media and don't say anything. But instead, he makes it a negative story, again, right from the get-go. And so then yesterday, he's inevitably asked about does he expect to come off the bench like he did in the playoffs? Or does he expect to start? And he says, he expects to start. Why say you expect to start as opposed to just saying, I want to do anything that's going to help the team to win? If Dwayne Wade on this franchise can come off the bench for 1.5 seasons, maybe Kyle Lowry can just do whatever helps the team win. Because honestly, if you're a Heat fan, yes, you obviously want him off the team, but I don't see how you start him. I don't see how your best lineup to start the game is starting Kyle Lowry. And of course, after Lowry spoke then and he expects to start, then the question is posed to Eric Spoelstra. That's the game the media plays. And Spo was non-committal. He wouldn't say anything about it. And he's probably not going going to start Kyle Lowry because it doesn't afford the Heat their best lineup. Just when you talk to the media, if you're Kyle Lowry, and I don't give a shit what Kyle Lowry says, but you make it a story, you make it a negative story when you say shit like that. Just say you want to help the team win any way you can. You haven't earned shit here in Miami. I got to be honest. I don't think he should even be in the rotation. Now, would that create a problem behind the scenes? Maybe. Now, the Heat are a stable enough franchise that they can handle that kind of stuff. But I look at this team, all right, like who should be the starting five for the Heat? And I look at it and I say, all right, Hero and Butler in the backcourt. Caleb Martin. I'd start Kevin Love at the 4, but it's one of those where, it's a token start. You play the first few minutes. We see what you got going. Then you come on out. Like he starts the first half, he starts the second half, and we see where we go from there. And of course, Bam at center. For me, the starting lineup, because I want Hero, Butler, and Martin out there. I want Martin in the starting lineup, man. Let's see where he goes from the postseason. Yeah, there were games he thought he was the best player on the team. I want Caleb Martin on the floor as much as possible. If they're not willing to trade him for Damian Lillard, I don't know if they were or weren't, but they clearly, they think very highly of Caleb Martin. Clearly. He should be in the starting lineup. He was phenomenal in the postseason. So if Butler and Martin are going to be in the starting lineup, you obviously have Bam. Lowry's not going to start at forward. Hero's got to be in the starting lineup. Why wouldn't he be in the starting lineup? Why would Kyle Lowry be in the starting lineup? So if your starting group is Hero, Butler, Martin, Love, Adebayo, would I love to get to a place where Nikola Jovic looks like a guy, especially with his height, 6'10", that he could start instead of Love? I'd love to be at a place like that. We're not there. But Hero, Butler, Martin, Love, Adebayo, that's my starting five. And so let's look at the bench. Josh Richardson's coming off the bench. He's going to play. And if you want, you need a point guard. Josh Richardson played point guard here. And whenever Butler and Bam are in the lineup, and Hero too, of course, those guys are going to handle the ball. You don't need a point guard by label. You just need guys who can handle the ball. So Josh Richardson's going to come off the bench. That's 6 guys. Jaime Jaquez has been practicing at shooting guard, and he's a small forward. He's 6'6". We want Jaquez to play. Nikola Jovic has got to play. I mean, what's the point in this season if we're not going to begin guys like Jaquez and Jovic? If nothing else, let them get some run so if a big trade pops up at some point, these are guys who become even more attractive pieces. And if you're a Heat fan going into this season, you want to see Jaquez and Jovic play. That's 8 guys right there. Richardson, Jaquez, Jovic. Haywood Highsmith was fantastic off the bench in the playoffs last year. Big-time defender. Can hit that corner 3. I want Highsmith playing. That's 9 guys right there. You need a backup big off the bench. Either Orlando Robinson, who killed it in the Summer League, or Thomas Bryant, who's a very legit backup center. I just gave you 10 guys. None of them are Kyle Lowry. Do you want Lowry? Forget the big men. You need a backup big, Robinson or Bryant. Do you want Lowry to play over Richardson? No. Do you want Lowry to play over Jovic? No. Do you want Lowry to play over Highsmith? No. Do you want Lowry to play over Jaquez? I suppose you could have that debate because he's a rookie and hasn't earned anything yet. But me, I want Jaquez's energy out there. I just gave you 10 guys who I'd like in the rotation, none of whom are called Kyle Lowry. And by the way, I didn't even give you Duncan Robinson. Robinson had a great postseason. Re-earned his spot in the rotation. I didn't even give you Duncan Robinson. Robinson was playing clutch minutes in the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston. I didn't even have him in the rotation. So, Kyle Lowry talking about he should start. I don't know that he should even play. I don't know that I want him even in the rotation. I want to see these other guys. So that's on the coach to figure out, man. And I don't think it's going to be easy. But that's what this training camp is for. And that's what the preseason is for. But I look at guys like Richardson, Jaquez, Jovic, Highsmith. I want all those guys playing. I don't want Lowry playing over them. Those guys are a lot more important. All four of those guys, probably the least important being Richardson, all four of those guys are pretty important to the Heat's future. And two of them, Jovic and Highsmith, we've seen show signs of being those guys that the Heat are hoping to be able to grow and build and be those next Max Strus guys. I know Jovic was a first-round pick, late first-round pick, but be the next Max Strus. Be the next Gabe Vincent. That's why they're here right now. I'll tell you what I do think is interesting and a guy that the Heat could use, because we're talking about like they need a guard or a point guard. It's Malcolm Brogdon. I wonder if Brogdon is going to stay in Portland. I don't think Portland wants to make a single deal with Miami. The Heat, even though things got contentious, even though I'm sure the Heat are not happy with the Blazers, the Heat are not putting personal ahead of business. The Heat will make deals with teams they don't like, with people they don't like, even with a cockroach like Joe Cronin. I don't think that cockroach wants to deal with the Miami Heat. Brogdon would be a very good fit for Miami. He would be a very good fit at point guard for Miami. His numbers are great, even last year. He's always hurt. Including last year where he missed, I think, 16 games. That's a season where he didn't miss a ton. He's always, the game before he missed 46 games. The season before it. He's always hurt, Brogdon. He has 2 years, $45 million left. I would send Lowry over there. You know, the Blazers could be interested in getting that money off the books next year so you get an expiring contract in Lowry, who they'd probably buy out. Question is, would you give Portland a first-round pick for Malcolm Brogdon? They won first-round picks. Would you give them a first-round pick for Malcolm Brogdon? I'd consider it. If you're trying to win now, then it has to be F them picks. So I think that's an interesting scenario. Malcolm Brogdon, if he's healthy right now, no idea if he's healthy. He was not healthy in the playoffs last year against Miami. He made a point of saying it in a post-game press conference after one of the losses. I think after Game 7, which was weird, making excuses and trying to get the finger pointing away from him. That was weird. But he would be a good fit with the Heat. Anyway, James Harden apparently is going to be reporting to the Sixers camp today after missing media day, after skipping the first day. He's expected to show up at Sixers training camp and create a mess and make a scene. You know, similar to the Ben Simmons stuff. But probably worse, because Harden's done this before with the fat suit, with all of it. If this has potential. Like, I know Daryl Morey is waiting out. Like, he's okay with being patient. Daryl Morey doesn't make decisions based on emotion, clearly. But if he's going to make a mess of your team, and there's not interest in James Harden out there. No one's given you anything for James Harden. So you're waiting out for what? And allowing your team to essentially get fucked with. He's going to fuck with your team. But to me, the most interesting part is, what does Joel Embiid do about this? And I'm not talking about Joel Embiid being angry at Daryl Morey, being angry at the Sixers. I'm talking about Joel Embiid pulling James Harden aside and saying, this is my team. I'm the MVP of the league. What the fuck do you think you're doing? What are you doing here? Get out of here. Go home. Like, do you think, who was never MVP, do you think Alonzo Mourning would have allowed that type of behavior in a Miami Heat training camp? Do you think any other MVP is going to allow another player to come into their training camp and make a mess? If Joel Embiid allows this to happen, I think that's a terrible look for Joel Embiid. It's your team. You're the MVP of the league. You cannot allow one of your teammates to show up with the intention of making a mess of your team. It's about time for Joel Embiid to step up and look like a leader, and be a leader, is what I would say. You think Alonzo Mourning would allow that type of behavior? Get real. Get real.